Hi, my name is Jonathan Emanuel Salinas Avila. I'm from Campus Cuernavaca and I'm going to present my evidence tree of contemporary world. It's about how society has been transformed in the era of globalization and knowledge. This is an important topic, so we are going to begin briefly describing important events of the last decades that are important to have a context to understand how society have been transformed. The first event that I have is the Persian Gulf War. The Persian Gulf War began on 1990 and finished on 1991. All began in July in 1990. Iraq was passing through a terrible economic situation because of the war that it had against Iran. At that same time, Kuwait decreased the oil price, making it cheaper than the Iraq's oil. But so all the problem began when Iraq, led by Saddam Hussein, invaded Kuwait on August 2nd in 1990. In response to this invasion, the NATO established economic sanctions to Iraq, but they were ignored. So the NATO began a military operations with a coalition of 34 nations, led by the United States, to free Kuwait. So the United States and the other countries put in action the Operation Desert Storm. With this intervention, Iraq recognized their defeat on February 28th in the next year, 1991. The other important event that is significantly for our country, especially Mexico, was the signing of the North American Free Trade Agreement. This agreement is a commercial agreement among the three countries of North America, the United States, Canada, and Mexico, and it has the principal objective to reduce the obstacles of commerce and improve the inversion opportunities between these nations. The taxes and restrictions were loosened. It was signed on December 17 in 1992 when Carlos Salinas was the Mexico's president. The other event that was important was the European Union, when the European Union was born. The European Union is an organization in which various European countries got together with the principal objective of improve the economy and political integration of their members to reach a better cooperation. There were important consequences because the European Treaty created with the European Union gave the European citizenship to all the people that live within the territories of Europe, of the members nation. Other important consequences was the adoption of the new official currency in Europe, the euro. And the next important event of the last decades is the Syrian Civil War. The Syrian Civil War began in 2011 because of the bad government of Bashar al-Assad, characterized of unemployment, corruption, lack of political freedom, and a hard repression. On March 2011, the uprising extended to all the country. The people wanted the exit of the president, but the repression increased more and more. In addition, there are other external forces that are involved in the war, for example, the United States that supports the rebels against the government, and Russia, this nation supports Bashar al-Assad, and the Islamic State also is involved. The war has caused a refugees crisis and a lot of bad consequences. The fear and uncertainty have led the people to leave their nation to find refuge in other country. Also, the conflict had destroyed public and private patrimony of the people and have generated thousands of kills. To a better understanding of what is happening today in our society, we need to pay attention to important concepts like globalization, terrorism, unipolar world, and also the digital era. I'm going to describe briefly each term. First, the globalization is a process of interaction and integration between the people, companies, and governments of different countries around the world. Actually, it's based on international trade, investment, and new technologies. Globalization has effects on the environment, the culture, the political systems, the economic development, and prosperity of each society in the world. With globalization, we have a world in which we can transfer capital, goods, services across national frontiers. So it's easier to get in communication with other people in the other side of the world because we now have technology and all this stuff that make it easier. The other term is terrorism. The definition of terrorism that is in the Federal Bureau of Investigation Policy and Counterterrorism Guidelines says this: that is a violent act dangerous to human life in violation of the criminal laws of the United States or of any state to intimidate or coerce a government, the civilian population in furtherance of political or social objectives. We can mention examples of terrorism attacks as the Twin Tower attack, the Charlie Hebdo attack, and the terrorist attacks in Paris that happened in this year, in 2016. Other concept is the unipolar world. The unipolar world is a world that has one dominating state that holds a significant power in economy, in politics, and military army. With the fall of the Soviet Union, the world began a new era. The disintegration of the communist bloc put an end to bipolarism, and the United States of America emerged as the only superpower in the world. The USA stands as the nation with the strongest economy and military capacity, with a lot of influence. And the last term, the digital era, it refers to the advancement of technology from analog, electronic, and mechanical devices to the digital technology that is available today for us. In the digital era, there is a rapid growth of information and communication technologies that has completely changed the way people think, behave, communicate, work, and earn their livelihood. This era started approximately in the 80s and is ongoing. The digital revolution also marks the beginning of the information era. So, after have been thinking deeply about these concepts, I have answered these questions that I present here to reflect more about these topics. Why did the globalization emerge? Well, in the last decades, the growth of the information and communication technologies has been incredible. We can see to all our sides, and we are around technology or communication systems. Actually, the globalization has emerged because of the dramatic expansion in the commerce and economy within the countries and abroad, caused of the increment of the use of the new technologies and telecommunications. The technology developments allows the people of all the countries in the world to be connected each other and thus have a better interrelations in economy and exchange all kind of products, services, and ideas, changing completely the cultural, political, and economic field of each nation. Actually, we can see how the news of other countries, we can see them and realize what is happening in the other side of the world. So the globalization is incredible, and the technology has a central part in it. The next question is, In most cases, what caused terrorist attacks of the 20th century? That actually terrorism is a phenomenon that has grown a lot in the 20th century, and in this one there are a lot of factors that contribute to generate violent terrorist actions. According to the security expert Rodriguez, there are some factors that contribute to terrorism. There are political factors, there's violence to the government considered authoritarian and corrupt. Social factors, the social discomposition and a terrible inequality in wealthy cause this kind of actions. Economic factors, the absolute poverty, no hope to change the situation generates violent actions also. Ideological factors, radical opposition against political philosophies. Religious factors, religious fanatics led the nations to fight each other. Some religions has the violence as a principle. Terrorists uses this to destabilize the state. And foreign influence factors, we can see this clearly because the violent groups be stronger with training, money and weapons from other nations. The other question is, how does the end of the Cold War relate with the unipolar world? Well, the Cold War was characterized by a bipolar world. We know that two nations in the top of the economy, influence and power. The Soviet Union in a hand and the United States in the other hand were those countries, and in the Cold War they fight each other to see who was the best and the more powerful nation. With the crisis of the Soviet Union and the following disintegration of it, the world faced a transition from a bipolar world to a new era in which there was only one nation as the superpower in the world, the United States, that is the stronger economy and military power in the world. And the other question is, how has the digital era influenced today's society? Well, the new technologies created in the 20th century caused a huge impact in today's world. We can see this clearly and had marked a revolution. Now, for example, computers and technology are around us in all sides. Computers form a fundamental part of us because they help us to process documents, to find information in internet, make numeric operations, control systems, study, to work, to organize ourselves and our information, bring us entertainment also. In addition, the internet that we have allows us to communicate in real time and use multimedia to share our experiences with other people at the other side of the world. The new technologies have improved the access to all classes of information in the people. The so-called TICs bring us in an era in which knowledge is at the reach of everyone. So, as a brief conclusion, in my opinion, all these events are related among them because have been affected by the processes that began in the 20th century and that have impacted our life. I'm talking about the globalization, the digital era, and economic interdependence. For sure, we're living in the knowledge era, and we need to learn to manage this with intelligence. We can access to a big amount of information of any class, but it's important for us to learn to use these technologies and information for good purposes. Also, it's important, I think, to be aware about the events that are relevant in our world, as the wars. Although they are at the other side of the globe, we can research about it and be aware and have consciousness about these events. We can, through the new technologies, have access to this information and do not be indifferent to these kind of problems that our world is suffering. So we have consciousness about this and be people that are that pay attention in the problems that the society have, and to help when it's necessary. So I think it's all for today. Thank you for your attention.